Welcome back, you Degenerates, to the number one fantasy football podcast in the world. I'm your host, Mike, with my dear friend, Billy the Wilson. How you doing, Billy?
What's up, Mikey? What's going on?
Splendid.
I'm swell, if you're asking me.
Yep.
You know, Joe Green is across the country once again. It's just me and the big dog tonight.
Yeah, he's in somewhere, I think, in Alaska, California border.
It's a large range.
I can't give his direct location. It's only the CIA knows.
Yeah. On the bright side, Mikey, this is hopefully our last virtual episode of the year.
Yeah, I'm still haven't got COVID. It's amazing.
It's me either. Knock on wood. Yeah.
Starting off week 5. Gotta love it. We're like a quarter way there in fantasy wise.
A little bit more.
It's time to make moves. All right, everybody. You know if you have a good team. You know if you have a bad team. You got to make moves. You got to make free agent moves, waiver wire. And there's no better week than this week. We got a ton of running backs that should be on the waiver wire that you need to spend your fab money. If you haven't been using your waiver wire, go use it. If you haven't yet, go check out the waiver wire video. It's on YouTube. And give us a shout out.
Yep. Like, follow, subscribe, ladies and gentlemen. Like, follow, subscribe. Tell your friends. We're giving out not just fantasy football information, gambling information as well.
Love it. Winners only.
4-0 on this show. Not a gambling show. 4-0. No big deal. No big deal.
Just degenerates doing the thing. Major news. There's another London game this week.
Yeah.
We gotta love it. We got some football on the East Coast at 9 a.m. For those that like it. If not, hopefully there's not another Kamara that just sits out randomly right before kickoff.
I mean, this game's going to be bad.
Yeah.
We'll talk about it when we start talking about the actual game. This game's brutal. I don't think I'm going to wake up for this one. I'll be honest with you. I think I might sleep in.
It's not worth it. No.
Yeah.
Before we go into that, week 6 is the start of buys. So, obviously, everyone's pretty much making trades and everything right now. Be aware that Detroit Lions, Houston Texans, Las Vegas Raiders, and Texans Titans are all on bye next week. So if you're getting those players, be aware that you won't have them next week.
Yeah.
First,
no, I was just going to say, let's get into the cuts and keep.
Let's do it.
First up, Mike's my guy, I think he was, right?
Your guy, currently on my other team. So.
Well, my guy from last year, Mike's guy from this year, Mr. Kyle Pitts himself. Are you cutting him or are you keeping him?
The right word would be I'm selling him, but I can't because he has no value. So I'm going to say cut because that coach doesn't know what he's doing, and you got to feature your main man. You got to do it, and they're just simply not game planning for him.
Yeah. I'm on the border, just like similar to last week. We talked about a bunch of players, and then we told you cut these guys, just like everybody else in the industry. It wasn't just us.
Mm-hmm.
We're not the only people out here talking this nonsense. They all go off. So everything's with a grain of salt. I'm keeping them for now because I do think that there is some value, and the tight end level is so low. It's a position that's basically streamable, and you'd rather have a guy with his talent than a streaming guy. And just kind of hope for the best. I will say, in the third quarter of the Rams game, Cooper Kupp had more production than Kyle Pitts has all season.
It's sad. You hate to see it. He is just. If you what are you gonna do? Why is he not at least getting 5 catches a game, which is dump it off to him. Let his playmaking do the job.
Yeah, I had somebody before we moved to the next guy send me a trade offer that was in his league, and he has Kyle Pitts and he's trying to dump him off, and the kid told him to fuck off. It was like a 3 for 3.
Yeah, 3 for 3.
It's just no. He's like, I don't want it. He's like, I don't want Kyle Pitts on my team. It's like, wow.
Next up, we have Juju. Thoughts?
I'm hanging on to him. You were kind of like he was kind of a flex play anyway, coming into the season. Um, it's not great, but it's not the worst thing. He's getting the targets. He's 8 targets in three out of 4 games. He's just not finding the end zone. So if he finds the end zone, he's having a very productive week. What he is. So I'm hanging on to him.
He's a bench player. Keep him.
He's a bench player.
But if there's some words that DJ Moore might go to Kansas City in a trade, if that happens, cut. See you later.
Yeah, I don't know how much truth there is to that.
I don't know, but I'm just putting it out there.
Yeah.
Next up, we have a group. The Cowboys running backs. We have Zeke and Pollard, both in this conversation.
You go first. I want to talk about
Zeke. I'm selling on the highest. If he goes off this week, I'm selling him. Pollard, I'm gonna hang on to. Hopefully they start featuring him. They should, because guess what? He's the better running back. He's more explosive. Has bigger plays. You saw not this past week, but the week before, where he had major big plays in the game, and he's just better. So, with that being said, I do not like when Dak Prescott comes back. I rather have Cooper Rush for these players.
Yeah. I mean, we've been talking about whether Dak should get his job back, and I don't think so. I will put out a caveat: if you can hold on to them, they play the Lions in Week 7, and they just gave up like 170 yards to Rashad Penny. So that's kind of when a lot of trade deadlines are and whatnot. If you're trying to sell high, that's going to be the week. Zeke, you could probably sell just based off name. Tony Pollard, I'd like to keep throughout the whole season. That's just me. I'm keeping. Yep. If I drafted Pollard, I'm keeping him. I drafted him knowing what he was. Wasn't a top tier running back, but like Zeke, you're not going to get much value from.
Yeah, he's not seen the end zone this year.
Mm-hmm.
Next up, we have Connors.
Who? James Conner? James Conner?
Is this another Connor?
His name's not Connors. It's just Connor. There's no S in there.
It's like the Terminator Connors.
Same thing. I'm keeping him. There's all no because first.
I mean, this is your guy.
He's a top 30 running back. Not like
that's not saying much.
No, it's not. But also, we have to look at it as in this Cardinals offense has no idea what it's doing without D-Hop. Yeah, they don't know.
I agree.
We're not going to see anything of what they can actually do until Week 6. So it's going to be tough. Hold out. They've scored 0 points in the first quarter in every game. I don't know, I'm holding on to him.
I agree. I think D-Hops is the game changer. Imagine D-Hops. You have Hollywood Brown, Ronald Moore, the other guy that I can't say his last name, Dortz or whatever.
Dortch.
You also have Ertz. Yeah. So you got playmakers out there. Let's see it all together. Let's see what Tillsbury can do, whatever the fucking coach's name is.
Kingsbury,
Tillsbury, Doughboy. I don't fucking care. He should stay in college. And hopefully Murray does not hop on the cod in Week 6.
I think he's going to put it down Week 6 because he knows it's time to play.
Next up, Chase Edmonds.
Dropping him. Dropping him.
Mustard is one of my free agents, waiver wire you need to add. He had a very good last week, and production will only increase, I see, going forward. I see Chase Edmonds being RB2 on that team, so let's shift that over.
Yep, and outside of him getting a touchdown, he was basically useless last week. So
absolutely useless. Like he had a garbage touchdown that it can happen for anybody. Free advertising for ESPN. Aaron Judge still hasn't hit his 62.
I'm gonna go crazy. I'm about to delete the ESPN app.
It's every inning.
Every time he's at bat, it's absurd.
Absolutely. Last but not least, we have ETN. This is your guy.
Keep him. I don't have a choice. I gotta keep him.
You have no choice if you have
him. I will say, on Sunday I was pissed off because of Jamal Agnew. And then I looked more into it. Jamal Agnew was playing wide receiver. He wasn't playing running back.
Yeah, he's like he
So
does a little bit of everything.
I'm not as mad at Jamal Agnew because he was lined up out wide. Because I didn't watch the Jaguars game. Yeah,
No one did.
probably a lot of people did. It was a good game, but I'm only watching Red Zone most of the time, and but he had the same amount of carries as James Robinson. He's gonna heat up eventually, and then you don't want him on the waiver wire.
You definitely don't. He's like they're still splitting carries. They're still splitting work.
He was a more efficient runner.
Believe it or not, the Jags haven't been really down in any game yet. Like, can we like give some respect for that team?
Yeah.
They've been in there. They've been fighting that offense, defense. They've been staying there. So I want to see when they play like a high power offense, let them see if he can be efficient, ETN, when when they're playing down.
I thought that last week was going to be the week, but then it was torrential downpour, and then it was pretty much a close game. It was a defensive game. So, anything else?
That is it.
All right. But before we go into anything else, I wanted to real quick throw another guy that I forgot to tell you to add to the waiver wire last night is Jameson Williams. Jameson Williams is not owned in 72% of leagues. Jared Goff is currently the quarterback 6. Their defense is not very good. They just put up 45 points and lost.
They're the number 1 offensive power team, believe it or not.
And Amon-Ra St. Brown is a stud, but the ball's got to go more than just one place. And we'll get into it more when we get into the actual game, but I think he's a solid pickup. It's 72% not owned.
I didn't really think about it because we're kind of like we're in a keeper league, so he's it was picked up early, so that's why I didn't even hit my mind.
Mm-hmm.
Let's kick off Thursday night games. The one and only Colts vs Broncos. I hate to see it. Javonte Williams out for the rest of the year. Tears his ACL, MCL, everything in his knee basically. He'll be out for quite some time. And now we have Will Gordon. That is Will Gordon. Who wrote Will Gordon?
It's a question, you moron.
Oh my God. English in this world.
It's a full sentence. I know, guys. Ladies and gentlemen, Mike is like Ron Burgundy. Whatever you write on the piece of paper, he's going to read it.
I read it.
I did think Melvin Gordon was going to take all the work, and then he had a press conference today, and he was asked about the fumbling, and he looked like he was crying and walked off the stage. So, no, I don't think he's going to take all the work. I don't think he can mentally handle himself anymore.
He walked off the stage.
Yeah, I'll send it to you after this.
Send it to me because I want to see this. I personally, we argued about this last night. I think he's going to be a workhorse. Welcome back to Chargers, Gordon.
I wouldn't be surprised. I really wouldn't, but no, it's a tough look, dude.
Because I think this is exactly what the Broncos need is to be more simple. And when I mean simple, I mean let one running back get the majority of the work. Let him, get into the groove. It could be a lot better, this offense. They're finally starting to throw to Sutton and everybody else. Sutton finally got a touchdown.
Thank God.
It's starting to look better. Wilson still looks like shit, but if Gordon can actually be efficient, which I think he can, I think he has, if he's not fumbling, I think he could be easily top 10 running back if he can get the ball.
Yeah, I guess. I don't think that the coaching staff trusts him. I just sent you the link, by the way. But I do think Russ Wilson looked much better. The offense looked better. They didn't have nearly as many false starts or delayed games. Wasn't using terrible timeouts. Russell Wilson had that rushing touchdown. We haven't seen that in a while. I think it's all going to come together. It'd be interesting to see how they look without Javonte because, there was a 50-50 split, but when they needed to get some yards, that's who they went to. And the Colts are an easy team that could be beaten up on. So I think the Broncos win this pretty easily. And I'm really hoping that Sutton catches another touchdown.
Yeah, you're begging for it.
I'm begging for it.
It should happen against the Colts. I mean,
yeah.
Their secondary isn't the greatest. But like you said, Taylor is banged up. He's never missed a game, I don't
Or
believe.
practiced
Or,
until
I mean, last
he
week
missed a
was his first
last
practice.
week.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That was his first practice he's ever missed going back to high school, which is quite amazing. I expect him to play. Do I think he's going to be efficient? I would say no, going against the Broncos defense. He hasn't looked amazing all year round anyway. He's not currently RB1 like he was last year. So
He he was in a walking boot today. So I don't love that. I think they, in the long run, for the long run sake, they hold him out because it's not really up to him whether he can play or not. In this case, but he hasn't looked good. He's looked pretty bad, averaging just it's like 10.1. I think the exact number was just over 10 fantasy points per game. He had 20 attempts last week for only 42 yards. It's not great. It's really, it's not what you want in your first overall pick.
absolutely not.
Big Mo Wiley Cox. You love it? You love it? You want more Cox?
More Cox always. I've been rooting for this guy for years now.
Yep.
And he always gives me that small Cox all the goddamn time.
It's the only reason why I wrote the notes.
Yeah. Do I expect that to happen again? Zero shot.
No. Hold on. Would you rather have Kyle Pitts this week or Mo Wiley Cox?
Kyle Pitts. I still don't want to go against Broncos D.
Yeah.
Next up, we have the London game, 9:30 Eastern for us. We have the Giants. We're gonna start somebody, not somebody at QB going against the Packers.
Did the Giants actually sign Jake Fromm today, or he just met with them? Because Odell also met with the Giants this week too. So
yeah, we brought in Jake Fromm and the other Alabama, the one that was the
I know who you're talking about. It's not coming to my head. McCarron.
Yeah.
McCarron. Yeah.
Which both of them have played for the Dabo.
I honestly, AJ McCarron would be way better for your team.
I think Webb's gonna start. It's it doesn't matter. He was the best he's ever showed was in the preseason this year. I think he knows all the players. He knows the plays. And they're gonna continue to do what they did best, is run the ball.
Mm-hmm. What's the timetable for Daniel Jones? I didn't even look.
I would say 1 week.
Okay, so this is kind of just a throwaway game for the Giants. They knew they were kind of going to lose this anyway.
Yeah, if I doubt they win. If anything, it's definitely bet the under because I mean this game is gonna be ugly. 9:30 a.m. Do you think it's over?
Yeah, defenses fall asleep. I don't know. The over hits every time in London. Yeah, I'll send you a link.
Well,
I think so. I don't know what the total is. I don't know what the total is.
But I don't know what it is either. But Romeo Doubs continues to show that he is the most trusted wide receiver over there. 8 targets last game. Should have had 2 TDs. Unfortunately, he didn't. Aaron Jones is the number 1 running back over there, if you guys didn't already know.
Yeah.
But A.J. Dillon is... This is the same scenario with ETN and not Jacobs. Robinson. They're sharing... It's pretty split.
Yeah.
It's just... Jones is more able to break away. He's able to get those extra yards on the outside, and Dillon just hasn't broke one yet. So...
Yeah, no, like we talk about every week. Every week I'm gonna remind you that Aaron Jones is better than AJ Dillon.
Yes.
But AJ Dillon's worth owning. He's most of the time worth being in your lineup. He gets decent amount of the goal line work. He just hasn't, like you said, he hasn't broken one off.
Gets about 12 to 15 carries a game.
I would like to see him out the AJ Dillon. Like if I'm an AJ Dillon owner, which I am in one league, to be out there on like obvious passing down plays to throw the defense off, because for right now, like when AJ Dillon's on the field, they know they're gonna run the ball.
I would rather them both be on the field.
Me too. That's what we talked about.
All game, yeah. That's what I would do.
Yeah.
Those who still can pick up Dobbs, go do it before it's too late. I think he's still probably owned 60% in most leagues currently.
I'll double check that right now. I think he's definitely owned in most leagues now.
Yeah.
75% owned. 75. Yeah. I'm sleeper.
Too late. You guys are too late. I told you last week. Watch the waiver wire video. You get all the information you need. Barkley is currently the lowest, second lowest RB1 through the first 5 games.
4 games.
4 games. I believe it's like 84 point something total points on the year.
Yeah, it's been a little bit of a. Is it just me? Before we go anywhere else, is it a little bit of a down year?
Absolutely.
Like the studs aren't playing well.
Absolutely, I think it's spread out. I think I think the offense. I think every offense line is struggling. Like if you think about it, like every single one is. I don't know why. Is it like one less the preseason game? What is the reason why? Because this has never been like this. Never.
Yeah.
I know the offense is shifting towards the wide receivers. The NFL going soft? Most likely.
Probably.
So, don't expect Jones. Expect probably a down game for Barkley.
Yeah, stacked boxes.
Yeah, it's going to be 9 people in the box.
Yeah.
And
I don't know why they even bother running that Wildcat. Because they had Daniel Jones out wide. He's got a hurt ankle. Like, why is he even on the field? Giants are a mess right now.
Yeah. You know what's funny? If Tony was there, he would have ran the Wildcat for them, and then you would have had an insane game that game.
Yeah, he's supposed to be back this week.
Hopefully, I'm praying.
Supposed to be back next week. So
those who don't know, it's risky. Buy now on Tony because there's not one running back there. I mean, wide receiver. The Galladay is hurt now. Sills sucks. There's not one wide receiver. We're expecting
Shepard's
Tony
gone.
to break off.
It's not great.
Gone. You got to play Tony, and Tony's explosive when he's on the field. Next up, we're starting the 1 p.m. games. We have the Steelers versus the Bills.
My 2 teams.
Let's go, baby.
Yes, sir. Kenny Pickett's season has begun. Fun fact, Kenny Pickett is the only person in NFL history to come into his first game and not have the ball hit the floor. 10 of 13. They were all completions. They were all completions.
Yeah.
10 to his team, 3 to the other team.
Those who said, I mean, those interceptions were not even like, they're not real interceptions. Like one was like at the end of a quarter or something. Like they're not. Don't worry about them. Like,
I'm not worried. I'm not worried at all. One was the Hail Mary at the end.
Yeah.
One wasn't a great pass, but I'm not worried about it. He was a little jitters. What I was real happy to see, he gave the offense a spark. More importantly, he gave George Pickens a reason to be owned in fantasy. 8 targets. He saw 36% of the target share when Kenny Pickett was on the field. You know, Patty Freiermuth had a good game as well last week.
Everybody on the Steelers has a boost.
Yeah.
I think the only one that still sucks is Claypool.
Claypool's dead. I talked about it before the season started. Claypool's the odd man out. He's a good athlete, but he doesn't do anything particularly well. They used to run those ridiculous like end around plays for him, and yeah, that's not going to work. We'll see. Kenny Pickett 2 touchdowns. That was great.
This is going to be a hard defense to go against with the Bills. They're finally getting their defensive players back. I don't know when is White coming back? Do you know when?
Not for a bit, I don't think. I'm not sure. Doesn't matter. They're loaded. They're backed up. I just want to know, Josh Allen, if you're listening. I know we're big Josh Allen fans around here. Could you maybe possibly throw the ball to Gabriel Davis now? You think that'd be a great idea?
Problem is he's hurt. I knew not to play him, and I still played him. I don't know why.
I did the same. I mean, one league I don't have a choice. It's just like my next best.
Well, guess what? I didn't play Penny. Win. I didn't play Penny.
I mean, hurts. That's something you don't do very often is listen to your own advice.
Yeah.
Yeah, usually Mike will say something on the show and then go against his own opinion, and it'll fuck him. So, Mike's growing as a human.
There's nobody that fucks me more than I fuck myself.
Joe Green, clip that.
In both ways.
Clip that for me.
I'm the number one fuck myself.
Jameson Crowder fractured his ankle. He's done, most likely done for the year. Isaiah McKenzie, concussion protocol. They had the rookie Shahir, little sneaky play. The Steelers' defense isn't great, but I think that Bill's gonna be up early and often, so they're not gonna really be throwing the ball much. They'd be kind of wasting clock away. I don't love Gabe Davis this week. He might score a touchdown in the first half, but then they're going to shut the offense down in the second half, I think.
Do you think it's finally starting to be a twitch season over there for the Bills? With everybody fumbling over there?
Starting to look like it, man. I mean, I talked about it in our group chat this weekend. Joe Green was like, "Oh, the Bills will never win the Super Bowl with this running back." I'm like, "Yeah, well, because they're sitting the best running back. James Cook is the best running back there. Like, Devin Singletary is good, catches good balls, but he doesn't run hard. And you need somebody who's going to run downhill, especially in, December and early January. I mean, it could be a little bit of a look-ahead game. That's why I do think that they're going to be taking the foot off the gas. They play the Chiefs next week.
Mm-hmm.
So, I don't know. It's hard to tell. I don't think that they give James Cook enough work to really be fantasy relevant. But
just football football relevant.
Yep.
I think that's all for that game. Next up, we have the Texans versus the Jaguars.
I hate the way you say Jaguars.
Jaguars. Boy, it's like they're gonna be going to London soon anyway. Jaguars. We already basically touched upon ETN, Robson. You know what you're getting from them. It's still 50-50 split. Can the Jaguars go up on the Texans and then finally ETN gets more production this game? It's possible.
I think it could be. Because Davis Mills is just not that guy.
Don't fucking take his name out of your mouth.
He's not that guy.
He is that guy.
He's not that guy.
Let him marinate.
he was being marinated last week with 4 sacks.
Let him get a good wide receiver out there. Wide receiver 1. Because you're not there yet to draft another QB. Let him get another wide receiver 1. Draft him this year. We'll see what he can do. Anyway, we really have to talk about Pierce. He had one long run. Do you consider this a breakout game?
Somewhat, I guess. I'm not convinced that he's like a top 15 guy like you think he is. It was surprising to see him get 6 receptions. The downside was he had 8 yards on the 6 receptions.
What's my word I say?
It's volume, man.
Targets lead to production.
Yeah, well, obviously it's volume. It's opportunity leads to volume, leads to production. That's what it is. But
just so the community knows, he is currently RB15. Just for everybody to know.
That's
currently
wild.
RB15.
I didn't even know that. Oh man, I was really hoping he was 16.
Get shit on.
But yeah, he broke a 75-yard run for a touchdown. It was a great run. The hole was wide open. But outside of that, he only ran for 4.3 yards per carry. Like I said, I really don't think that he's going to see that much receiving work because Burkhead had five targets as well.
I just want
game script.
If he just gets 2 to 4 targets and he can make something out of it, as long as he's catching three catches, that's 3 points for us. I mean,
he caught all 6 targets. So.
Yeah, so 6 easy points.
Yeah.
Don't worry about Kirk. 9 targets. Like we already said, targets equals production. Don't worry about it. They played one of the, if not the best defenses, I think, in the league.
And it was raining. It was raining. It was windy.
He's still not, he's not a big receiver. He's not boxing people out. He needs to get open with his route running. So, not really.
I think a lot of that Eagles-Jaguars game is just a throwaway.
Mm-hmm. It just proves that Jaguars are real. I mean, the Eagles are a real deal. That's all I take.
They're the real deal, and I think the Jaguars are pretty damn good.
Jaguars should win the division. Jaguars are, I think, plus like 172 now to win the division.
Yeah, and they were plus 850 to start, I think, which is wild.
Insane.
One quick note: the Texans are giving up 172 yards per game on the ground, which is third most in the NFL. Could be a massive day for whoever Doug Peterson decides is going to be his running back this week.
Whoever. You're praying for ET right now.
I mean, even if they split it 15-15.
If ET
100
goes
yards
off, would you sell him? And not just to you,
No.
I'm saying to the community.
That's a question for the community.
That's
Let us know down below. Let us know down
right.
in the comments.
Would you sell ETN if he goes off for like a 20-point, 25-point game this week going against the Texans? Are you trading him when he's hot?
If he gets 30 points, I trade. 20 points isn't like a big game to me. You know, I want like an outlier game when it's never going to happen again, and then I can be like, yeah, but then I can be like, yeah, but it might. But get my negotiations. I mean, look what happened. They played Texans again this year. You know.
Yeah. He's in the playoffs. Oh yeah, he might go for 45. He might just win it, the whole thing for you.
Yeah, I'm about to look see when next time they play them.
Do they play? Do they play the Lions?
I don't think they do. I'm about to pull up the schedule.
All right. We'll wait for you to. All right. Next up, we have the Bears versus Vikings.
Yikes.
Nice. You better hope this is a rain game because the Vikings should dominate this game. Darnell Mooney finally decided to show his ugly face. He had 4 catches for, I believe, like 90 yards. He finally showed something. What?
Jaguars play the Texans week 17 championship.
Ooh.
Love that.
We'll see
they play the Lions week 13.
Oh my god!
And they play the Giants week 7.
The Giants are
couple big games coming up. Couple big games for ETN coming up, ladies and gentlemen.
Yeah, trade for him now. Like I was saying, Darnell Mooney finally showed his face. Wasn't much going against the Giants, so
yeah,
take that with a grain of salt. But I did pick him up for myself. Even though we had him cut last week, he hit the waiver wire. He was, I think, a 6th round pick for us in our league.
Yeah.
We are in a keeper league. I decided to pick him up because I had injuries and I had open spot.
Yeah, I mean, we talked about it last week when we said to drop him. It was like, you're going to drop him, but somebody else is going to pick him up.
Absolutely. The name is sell.
That was my quote. It was just, somebody else is going to pick him up because he's the only guy there. He only saw, I think, 5 or 6 targets. I think it was 6 targets.
I think it was 5. It was 4 for 5.
I don't love that. I still don't love that. Well, he caught one deep ball. Like I said, didn't really do
I don't know what the Bears coach is doing. They're averaging, I think, 16 attempts per game throwing the ball.
Yeah, it's not great.
And you're in a tight game. Like, how many times are you like getting the ball right before half or right before the fourth quarter, and you're just deciding not to throw the ball to win the game?
Yeah,
it's happened last week. It happened this week. The Giants aren't a great team. They had no QB, and you didn't push the ball. I don't understand. Like, what were you afraid to do? Like, were you afraid to make a bad decision and throw an interception? Like, they weren't moving the ball.
They just want to kick field goals, man. That's all. They just want to kick field goals and throw the ball to Cole Kmet so he can fall on the floor. That guy is so bad at football. The second the ball touches his hands,
he's not bad. Everyone that's ever said that he was going to be productive in the fantasy world is bad.
I agree.
Not us, not him. All those other people that are fantasy pros talking about Kmet, they're bad.
Joe Green had a little love for Cole Kmet.
Yeah, he picked him
Not
up.
much, though. A little bit. Not much.
I mean, someone kept him in our league, so I mean...
Well, he's an idiot.
Oh, he's 3-1 idiot.
I guess who beat that 3-1 idiot? Guess who's that one?
Yeah.
This guy. No first round pick, baby. 7th place. No problems. Ain't no problem.
We ain't paying that.
You don't want to see me. Hold on. You don't want to see me in the playoffs. Travis Etienne plays.
You don't want to do it.
Texans championship game. You don't want to see me.
What about your boy Herbert?
Yeah, he came back down to earth. 77 yards on 19 attempts. Didn't have a touchdown. Ruined my parlay. Hated to see it.
Hate to see it.
I'm sorry, he usually breaks one off, and he just didn't. He was efficient, so he got a couple passes, but nothing too crazy. The Vikings D, middle of the field as far as running. I don't know if there's Dave Montgomery update. I
I
assume
don't
he's
have nothing.
still out.
Yeah.
So I don't know.
I don't think
Herbert.
they'll rush him. They like Herbert. And the fact that he's on the team that doesn't want to throw the ball, so he's going to see it 19 attempts every week at least.
Yeah, it's a divisional game. It's gonna be a closer game than people think. What's the deal with Justin Jefferson though? He's being used in like the second half. Thank God he had that second half because he had I think 9 fantasy points in the first half, and I woke up early because I have Justin Jefferson in one league, and it's a 1-in-3 league. It's not great. It's really bad.
I think part of it is a new coach. He's never been a coach or head coach at least. He's still calling plays. This offense is so used to running the ball. Cousins is not usually the guy. Because I mean, let's look at Cook himself. Like he's not a good running back this year.
No,
he's not. He's not. You're definitely not getting his draft value of a top 8 pick that they used on him. And he's banged up. So I mean, like
he only has 76 yards.
And this is probably the worst Cousins looked in the last 3 years.
No, Cousins looked pretty good last.
I mean, I'm just saying in general.
I know you weren't awake, but like he was somewhat efficient. Jefferson was 10 for 147. Thielen was 8 for 72.
But if you look at like his previous years, like he's definitely having a down year.
Yeah, I guess because it's not. I feel like they're not running the ball as efficiently as they want, and I think it's kind of hurting the play action. It's kind of hurting the ability for Justin Jefferson to get out into real space where he really you give Kirk Cousins 4 or 5 seconds. Justin Jefferson has nobody within 10 yards of him just every time. His highlight reel, like go Google it. His Vikings highlight reel. Every catch is nobody else in the picture but him.
Mm-hmm. We saw that week 1, and we thought it was going to be crazy him going against linebackers thanks to his offense.
Yeah. No, it's still early. They're still putting things together. Are you buying in on the Adam Thielen volume that we've been getting? Or do you think it's just kind of... There was a little bit of game script just because it was somewhat close, but do you think that, he's dusting off the yellow gloves?
I was on KJ, so, I mean...
yeah, well, he's dead now. I'm dropping him this week, so...
He had a touchdown and they called it back. Like, I know that doesn't mean... Like, he didn't see a lot of production outside of that. He did have a touchdown. They called it back for, like, a flag or something.
Yeah. Rest in peace, that third-year boost.
No third-year boost. My boy.
Bring back the return of the yellow gloves.
Let him go on another team. He'll show up.
Yeah.
That's enough for this game. We got the Chargers, the Browns. Let's start off. Hopefully, Allen is back for this Chargers offense. Just quite hasn't been the same. I know everybody, Williams is showing up, everybody. But it just doesn't look right not seeing Allen on the field catching 10 balls.
I mean, this was the first time I was like, hey, yes, it was against the Texans last week, but Austin Eckler is finally using the passing game like he should be. Guy had 3 touchdowns. Like co-leader in touchdowns last year, had 0 touchdowns so far this year. Yeah, the 13 attempts was about his normal, but it was good to see him get 7 targets and do something with those targets. So
he needed it.
Yeah. Shout out to me. Told everybody Gerald Everett's going to be a steal. And
he was.
He has been so far. 5 receptions, 61 yards and a touchdown.
I don't know. This declines when Allen comes back?
Nah, I don't think so. I think that he kind of maintains. He won't get the volume. He won't be seeing 7 targets a game. But in the red zone, Mike Williams isn't really a red zone guy. He's a big guy, gets up to the ball, but he's a deep threat guy. Keenan Allen's never really been a true red zone threat. He kind of use Eckler a lot, and they struggle in the red zone. That's why they always kick so many field goals and lose so many games. So it's tough. I just want to see what Gerald Everett is. Gerald Everett is currently tight end 6. The tight end whisperer, baby.
I'm the tight end whisperer this year. I am.
Are
Not
you?
you.
Oh.
Yeah. Last week I said pick up Njoku. Second good week. He had I think like he led the Browns in receiving last week.
Yeah, I mean, it's not hard to do when Amari Cooper does one of those pooper games. He just didn't even show up at all. But you know it's
He
coming.
had what? Oh, Cooper? Absolutely.
Yeah.
He had 7 targets, 5 catches for 73 yards. Last week the week before he had 10 targets, 9 receptions, 89 yards, and a touchdown. If he sees this production going forward, he will definitely be a top 10. He already is a top 10. He's actually currently 11, but he will be a top 10 tight end.
Yeah. Now, who knows what happens when Watson comes back?
Mm-hmm.
But Donovan Peoples-Jones gets a lot of looks right now. Amari Cooper, listen, you stink, dude. You stink. We tell these people every year, don't draft Amari Cooper. He's good for 3 games and has 12 bad games. This is why. 1 catch for 9 yards. Played the entire game.
They did in week 1 too.
Yeah, it happens. Your boy Harrison Bryant, 4 catches.
He's playing wide receiver. He's not even playing tight end no more.
Because Amari Cooper can't play wide receiver. The Browns had no business losing that game.
The Browns have lost multiple games they had no business of losing.
Yeah, I thought that was a clear Browns win. That's just brutal. I have nothing else in this game, though.
All right. Next up, we have the Dolphins with Tua-less. Dolphins with 2 glove now. Bridgewater.
Yeah, Teddy covers.
That was a little weird saying that.
Yeah, it's a lot of T's in there.
Yeah. Bridgewater is now the starter with 2 gloves. He's going to be replacing. He's replacing Tua, which had his third.
Who has no head?
He replaces Tua with his 2 concussions.
Tua short bus. So we're going to start calling him. Brutal.
He is absolutely, definitely. This whole this
mentally handicapped now. Yeah, I think so.
Yeah, he definitely is. But I'm saying it as a whole, as a team, I feel like the Dolphins, like from last week, now this week, I feel like this can easily change the momentum of what the Dolphins did have when they beat the Ravens.
Yeah.
Like it can quickly go bad.
I mean, but like real quick, like what have we learned from the Ravens? The Ravens can't do anything in the second half of football games. That's what we've learned through 4 weeks.
Can't trust that defense. Clearly, because they're kicking. We're going to talk about that later.
Yeah, I'm just throwing it out there.
Yeah, that's what
the Dolphins beating the Ravens isn't as great as we thought it was. It's kind of what I'm getting at. This offense isn't as vertical as it once was when Tua plays. Tua doesn't have the greatest arm. We talk about it all the time. At least I do. Mike kind of indifferent on the whole Tua conversation me and Joe Green have all the time, but he definitely doesn't have the Teddy 2 gloves. Definitely can't do it the way Tua can. But he's a good game manager. They will use more running game, rely more on Mostert, kind of still have Chase mixed in there. Probably some wide receiver screens, some real efficient work. And I think that everybody kind of eats a little bit, but no 40-point game. You're not getting a 40-point game from anybody anytime soon. I
think if the highest, you're going to get more points out of these players with, I think, catches in general. I think the possession of Waddle, he's more a possession wide receiver than Hill. I think Waddle can be a little bit more featured in this game at least, with Sauce Gardner covering Hill, because I know he wants that. I know he's gonna shadow him. He wants that. He wants to be the top rookie corner from this year's draft. He showed. I think he only gave up 9 yards last week. He showed to be one of the top corners in the league. So there's no better competition to go against than Hill. Even though there's no Tua, he wants to play against Hill. So expect a big week against Waddle. for Waddle going against the Jets, even though they have also another good corner, Reed, who's been showing up.
Yeah.
But let's talk about Wilson.
Yeah. He stinks.
You think he stinks?
I know he stinks. Like, I watched the whole game. I think he kind of stinks.
He just had He
won the game.
He just had a good sits throws at the end of the fourth quarter.
Yeah, that's it. He had a bunch of really bad throws in the first three quarters. After the second best defensive player on the team goes down, gets hurt. Minka Fitzpatrick, the safety, gets hurt. Then they can throw the ball. I was a little shocked to see that Corey Davis led the team in targets last week. We all predicted that, right?
We didn't predict it, but he's off to a really good season for him.
Yeah.
I mean, he wasn't ranked in majority of, top 50 wide receivers.
Yeah. I thought his time was over. Garrett Wilson came in. I was a little bit shocked to see Elijah Moore not get that much work now that Zach Wilson was back. But listen, Zach Wilson went 18 for 36, 2 interceptions. And he didn't have the best game.
It is his first game. So I'm going to take it with a grain of salt. What I do like, I like Hall being featured a lot more with Wilson. I think that's exactly what they want to do. Start to use Carter a little bit less. I think it's more like a, 60-40. That's
if we're going off like last week and like I guess the Steelers, then kind of going forward, it looks like a 70-30. It's 17 attempts to 9. Breece Hall had more targets.
Mm-hmm.
He's being used a lot more. Also, Pittsburgh garbage against running backs, where the Dolphins are decently good. If it continues, we'll see this week. I think this is a real test against a good defense, a team that blitzes a lot, and they're gonna struggle running the ball.
One of the best things I liked is that there was a ton of plays where they were both on the field.
Mm-hmm.
Carter at one play was he took that corner out.
Yeah.
And Hall had one of the good run plays at the end of the game.
He was this close.
Yep. Corey Davis, just want to mention, he's currently wide receiver 26.
That's crazy.
Crazy.
That's my guy from last year.
Mm-hmm. So that's all I have really. Oh, I want to talk about Conklin. He's currently tight end number 9. He saw a ton of targets last week. Don't be afraid to stream him.
He's owned in most leagues now, man.
Yeah, he's
like tight end.
That is not true. He's 53.
That's crazy talk.
That's wild.
That's wild.
Just so you know, he's one of the top targeted tight ends out there. It was a little bit of a hiccup. We didn't know if Wilson was going to throw to the tight end, but he threw 5 times to him for 3 receptions, 52 yards. Uzama's gone. He's the blocking tight end. Conklin's the guy. I continue to stream him, play him, keep him on your bench. He is one of the best bench, if not starters, for a tight end currently right now.
I think that's crazy that Tyler Conklin's only 53% owned.
There's a lot of dumb people out there.
I guess, yeah, but it makes me appreciate the leagues that I'm in.
No, it makes me appreciate that you guys need to start listening to us a little bit more.
That's fair.
Because that number should be in the 60s at least.
He's a top 10 tight end through 4 weeks. And then, what you said before, I just want to agree with you that I didn't think that Zach Wilson would be using him as much as he did last week.
Yep.
I like it.
Yeah.
And Dolphins aren't great against the tight end either.
Especially because they're down 3 tackles. Now they moved Tucker to left tackle. So I thought there were going to be a lot more run plays not run plays, a lot more blocking plays with both the tight ends.
I don't know if you got this update because, we have the same Twitter account for FFD, but follow us on Twitter, by the way. I got a notification saying that 2 Jets offensive linemen fatally died or whatever. No? So I'm like, I was like, oh, was the whole O-line's out now? 2 of them are dead? It was like it was these 2 guys from the 80s. I just thought it was just so funny. I got a heart attack. It's like, come on.
The whole team?
The whole team died. We are Marshall out here.
That's enough about the Jets. Next up, we have the Falcons versus the Bucs. Cordell Patterson's going to be put on IR, so that's no matter what 4 game He's going to be out. We have the rookie Tyler Allgeier, and yes, that's how you say it, motherfuckers. As I looked it up, he is one, if not the top waiver wire for me to be added to your team. My two top waiver wires was Robinson for the running back for the Commanders, and the second one was Allgeier. So this is my advice to everybody. If you need a running back to start tomorrow, we're going to get Allgeier. Okay?
Yep.
If you're looking for long term, he will eventually be there. We're talking Robinson. You're going to have to wait a couple of games. He's going to start getting, slowly acclimate back to the offense. Long term, you definitely want Robinson. Short term, for the next 4 games, Allgeier. Maybe by week, in 3 or 4 weeks, you'll see the full force of Robinson. But definitely, you need to add Robinson now, because if you add him next week, or the week after, it'll be way too late.
Yeah.
You like that?
Yeah, no, I do like that.
Cool. I didn't fucking care if you didn't.
Good. No.
Don't put no
I just
fat
want
on
a
me.
quick shout out to you once again for like the 5th time this episode. Shout out to you. Marcus Mariota loves tight ends. 1 catch last week, 25 yards.
I just broke my fucking sign. I'll be right back.
Oh man. I'm gonna just bring it back every week that Kyle Pitts does bad.
Anyway.
Just like Mike said
Don't
last
even
week.
state this shit. It's not even Mariota.
No, I think it is. I think that you just you're reading too much into the numbers for once in your life. Mike doesn't look at stats. He does it by heart. So when he does find a stat, he sticks to it and will not let it go.
It's funny. I'm like an old school scout. Like, I don't fucking care what your 40 is. Like, if you're good, you're gonna be good to me.
Oh,
I look at the stats. I got shit on.
That's a football player right there. What was I gonna say? For the Bucs side, Chris Godwin's banged up again. He came back in the game, but you don't really know if it tightens up or what's going to happen, so keep an eye out for that. Were you surprised at the amount of use that Rachaad White got over Fournette last week?
Yes and no. The reason yes, because they were down. I thought Fournette was just going to continue to be in the game. He's obviously a better pass blocker. No, because the coach said it. They wanted to feature him a lot more going into this game. So, I mean, you can't always believe what a coach says. This is exactly what happened. They were playing down. I think they are aware that White's more explosive in the fact that he could break one. He's more faster. Fournette's a little meatball, so I'm not shocked.
Yeah, I mean, they ran the ball 6 times last week.
They had to.
I know they had to, but that's why they kind of lost, because there's no balance. Still at the end of the day, you still need some balance in your offense.
Absolutely.
And Leonard Fournette had 3 rushes for -3 yards, so I think that kind of factored into it. Whereas Rachaad White had 3 attempts for 6 yards.
It's against Kansas City. You got to run the ball. I don't care if you're down.
I mean, they're definitely getting better, but now, if you go and look up top teams against running backs, against the run, Kansas City's up there for no reason, because they let up 3 yards.
Yeah, I'll also tell you why. Is because their offense puts so much pressure on the opposite team's offense that they make them. They need to throw, but you need to be aware that if you run the ball, your defense doesn't stay on the field and get tired. You gotta be able to run the ball, keep your defense off the field, regardless if you are down.
Yeah,
you gotta run some of that clock.
They have been a little bit better, but I just want to get people if you play DFS or something, don't look into that. Kansas City is the best team against the run. You can't play them against the run, because they ran the ball 6 times for 3 yards, and they threw the ball 52 times. So this little caveat for you.
Are you surprised Clyde Edwards-Helaire is one of the best fantasy running backs this year?
Yes and no at the same time, if that makes sense. Because I don't think he's the best football player I've ever seen. I don't think he's really that great of a running back. But no, because they're not giving the ball to Juju, so the ball's got to go somewhere, I guess. It's strange to see.
I think he
You know,
leads the league
been,
in running back and run backs for touchdowns.
he might. I mean, he's got a bunch of passing touchdowns too.
Yeah, overall he has 5.
He's got 5 touchdowns. I was gonna say 6. It's not bad.
Week 1 he had 2 passing, and then only week 2 he had nothing. Going against the Chargers.
I'm not. I sent a trade offer for him in one league. We'll see what happens. I don't think I'm gonna get him because it definitely wasn't enough.
Mm.
But we'll
it's
see.
funny. It's like one of those players like you want on your team, but in the same time, like his like currently what he's running back 4. Like you're not paying whatever the price is for his RB4. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like you if you can get a trade and you value it, like maybe you think he's gonna finish like RB like 15. Like that's what I'm trying to get at value. You're not going to get his value right now. You sell high right now if you have Clyde Edwards-Helaire.
That's what I was kind of hoping for. I was selling him high. I was trying to buy him for somebody who I thought would be selling high for somebody who wants to buy in low on somebody who I know he likes. So I was trying to see what I get. I haven't gotten a response yet. It's been about 9 hours, so we'll see.
9 hours. Yeah, you're getting indebted.
As usual. Let's move on.
Next up, we have the Lions versus the Patriots. Patriots currently have no QB out there. They're like the Giants. They have a rookie out there, which I'm not even going to say his name because I don't know it.
Bailey Zappi.
Zappy. I think he...
you know the college.
6,000 passing yards in college.
Stud. He was an absolute. I forgot where he went. I knew it and then I forgot.
Like Western Kentucky or some bullshit.
I think so. Yeah. No, he's a stud.
He's a stud. Patriots
drafted him for a reason. He didn't look terrible, but
I mean, they don't let him. They're not going to let him eat, so that's the problem.
Yeah. Shout out to T.J. Hawkinson for the Lions. Welcome back to the 100-yard club for the first time since your first game ever. Have a monster day, my boy. Later on in the week, I kind of saw I kind of realized how much T.J. Hawkinson was going to be used. I would have one of those special editions, you must start him, start of the week kind of guy things for you, because he was in all of my DFS lineups, and by Sunday, everybody kind of caught on.
Everybody hopped on.
Yeah, it was a Jared Goff, T.J. Hawkinson kind of stack week, but yeah, Jared Goff looks great.
I'm telling you, he needs to be a waiver ad. I don't think most people are going to be on him, so if you really can wait and pick him up after the wave, I think it's good because we're starting the buys, and if I feel good playing, golf, especially if Williams comes back and everybody starts to come back. I like it a lot. They're one of the more all-round teams. They can run the ball, pass the ball. That's what makes them good.
Yeah. Oh, and they can't play. And they can play any defense, so it makes their offense really good.
Just so you know that Zappy, I was right. Western
Kentucky, right?
Yeah, it's good.
I thought for some reason it was West Virginia, and I knew I was wrong, so I didn't say it. Yeah.
Like Billy already said, Jameson Williams, he add to your team if he's on waiver wire 30% owned.
Yeah, it's crazy.
Cross leads.
Nothing really on the Patriots side except for Ramondre Stevenson starting to get a little bit more work, especially in the passing game. Once this weather starts getting colder, it's gonna be Ramondre season. I'm telling you.
The way the Patriots are running the ball, this is how I wanted Jones and Dylan to be. You know what I'm saying? They're both efficient. They're both around probably 15 to 20 in the running back rankings right now. Hopefully that continues for them.
Ramondre just sturdy, 10, 12 points past couple weeks, and I think you're just going to see it from here on out. The Lions, I believe, I don't want to be wrong. I just want to pull it up. The Lions they're second worst against the run, 165 yards per game allowed. It's not great. I think that both of them kind of eat, and could be a decent game for both of them. Both starts, I think. Especially with the quarterback issues they're having. Is Bailey Zappi playing again this week? I don't remember what Hoyer.
I don't know.
Was
I don't know.
because I thought it was a concussion.
Hoyer, I think it was a shoulder.
Oh, yeah. So
I'm not sure if he does play.
Yeah, we'll see.
I'll look it up. We can continue because this is a pretty shitty game. I play everybody on the Lions. Hopefully, St. Brown's back. If not, obviously, if you drafted TJ, you're obviously playing him.
Yeah.
Next up. Oh, wait, you're gonna say something?
No, I was saying next up for you.
Next up, we have Seahawks versus Saints. The shitty Saints.
Let Geno cook.
Let Dalton cook. Red Rifle, baby.
He won you a championship a decade ago. Get over it, man.
Something he's never done. Yeah, it doesn't look good for Hoyer, just to say. They signed another QB, Garrett Gilbert.
Oh, did they?
Squad. Yeah.
Where was Gilbert last year? Wasn't he on
Rams?
Rams? I thought it was the Cowboys.
Maybe. He's definitely been on the Rams.
Okay. Yeah, the Saints defense did not look great.
Nope.
Saints offense did not look great. There's not much I really love about this game. I'm really hoping that Kamara comes back and is actually healthy for once. The bright side is Chris Olave still balling out. Had a touchdown, 67 yards, 4 catches. Outside of that, do we have any Michael Thomas update?
Last time I checked, he's not practicing. So
I hate that.
Yeah.
Yeah, Saints kind of going to be reliant on Alvin Kamara this week. Seahawks, not a great run defense. 154 yards per game against them on the ground. They don't have Latavius Murray anymore. They let him go. He's now on the Broncos. He got picked up. Yeah, he's on the Broncos. Yeah. I wasn't sure if we talked about it or not.
No.
So I think that's a good sign that Kamara is going to play.
Mm-hmm.
The reason why Lat Murray got so much work is because he knows the offense. It wasn't like they just picked some random guy up and just gave the ball 6 times. Like he knows the team. Yeah, he knows the team. Outside of that, I got nothing.
I want to talk about the fact that I like Kamara better with Dalton than I do Winston. Dalton's had Bernard his whole life when he was playing for Cincy. Bernard caught a ton of passes. Kamara, guess what? I don't really love Kamara as a running back. I mean, as a running the ball. I mean, he's efficient, but he's better catching the ball, being in the open field.
Being that football player.
Yeah. All I gotta say about the Saints.
Yeah, I don't really have much to say about the Saints or the Seahawks. Oh, real quick, I didn't want to forget. Shout out to DK Metcalf. Calls in the cart to take a shit. You love that. That's king status. That's king status.
Yep. When you're that big, I mean, can you imagine the shit that comes out of him? Especially after running.
Especially after seeing Lamar clench his ass cheeks running back to the locker room. No way. He's I'm gonna go out the right way.
This is the worst game coming up to watch. Titans versus Commanders. Commanders is one of the worst offensive lines you'll ever see. Wentz is getting killed out there. We saw Dotson. Well, we didn't mention it. Dotson is out most likely this week.
The hamstring. He's definitely not going to play.
Yeah. Fast people with hamstrings, they run faster than the hamstring.
That's what Keenan Allen's dealing with. That's what we talk about it every year. Whenever there's a hamstring injury, it's just not great. It's not great news.
Yeah. Jalen Burt's career came to an end. He has turf toe.
Rest in peace.
I was told a long time ago by a very stupid friend, Joe Green. If you get turf toe, they amputate a couple toes.
Yeah,
and you can't run no more.
It's worse than having AIDS. That's what I was told.
Basically.
Yeah. It's not great.
Jalen Burt's, drop him because he's garbage anyway. For all you professional fantasy, there was no production, and you want a production because he's there and he got drafted in the first round. It was not there. Watch football.
The best thing this weekend, because anybody who watches the show knows how much Joe Green loves Treylon Burks. So every time they threw the ball and they made like a big catch on the Titans, I was like, Treylon Burks! Oh, wait. No, Robert Woods.
Robert Woods.
Sorry. Oh, sorry. But
At one
speaking of, he's starting to warm up.
Kyle Phillips gets a catch. Burks! No, he's white. There's no way that's Burks.
Yeah, sorry, he's a white guy. Sorry, that's not Treylon Burks.
And slowly but surely, Joe Green stops answering text messages.
Yeah, he was like, "Go, I'm on a flight. You've been blowing our phone up for 3 hours.
On a flight. Your rich ass knows you paid for that Wi-Fi. We all got the iPhone, so you got all those text messages.
Come on, man, I'm broke and I pay for the Wi-Fi, bro. Everybody knows that.
That's before next up, I want to talk about Henry. Henry's been killing it the last 2 games. He's back. I'm not afraid. This should be a home run going against the Commanders.
Yeah,
Henry's the guy. They're gonna keep featuring him.
Yeah, you're gonna play Derrick Henry this time.
Anyway. You're gonna love the 100 yards he gets every. He's finally getting more production in the receiving game, though. Have you noticed that?
Yeah, it's strange to see.
It's crazy.
Especially after Dontrell Hilliard week 1 had a bunch of catches, and then he got hurt. So I figured that when he comes back, which he did, he'd get that passing work again. But he didn't.
He fumbled it though.
Did he?
Yeah, and then after that, it was like done.
But puts the fans into silence mode because people said he couldn't catch football, and he's out here catching balls left and right.
This division's wide open between the shitty Colts, Titans, and everybody else. Everyone's fighting for each game. So
yeah,
that stuff we have.
It's crazy.
Horrible. 49ers versus the Panthers. Kittle, rest in peace. You're now the left tackle for the 49ers, thanks to Williams being out.
Yeah. I'm very happy that Brandon Ayuk did not get 19 points this week.
Points.
I would have.
In the beginning, when he started catching up, like, this is going to be a good one.
Oh, yeah. Me and the good friend of the show, Jay, were in a tight battle. I had him by, I think, 21 points is what it was. And all he had left was Brandon Ayuk, thanks to the Buccaneers defense being absolute dog shit and just ruining his week for him.
If the Rams actually showed up and had a offense, I'm just saying, if they had actually put points on the board, Ayuk would have been in a lot more chances to actually have to produce on the field.
Yeah. But good thing the Niners always beat the Rams. So. But the Panthers stink. The Panthers
are just bad.
Yeah.
I mean, sell
I don't know what.
Sell them.
I've been trying to since week 1. Every week, I remind people, send trade offers out. I can't get anything. No bites. Baker Mayfield is not good. The only thing you have is McCaffrey, I guess, and you're just kind of happy that he's not Jonathan Taylor.
You're happy he's playing. You're happy he's playing.
Yeah. I guess so. I mean, you're not getting any 40-point games from him.
Not no more. He's just not getting the receptions out there.
Yeah, I don't really have much for this game. Jeff Wilson had a touchdown. He looked pretty good last week against the Rams.
It's going to be interesting to see in a couple weeks when Mitchell comes back to see exactly how this offense is going to be run.
Yeah, we'll see. Maybe back to more of a split backfield. They didn't really. Let me double check it. I watched most of that game, and I feel like they didn't really split the backfield that much.
They didn't.
No, not at all. Jeff Wilson, 18 attempts. Juszczyk 1, and that was it for running back.
I think Davis is still hurt. I think that's the only person there would see something if he was on the field, and then Mitchell's still out. So there's nobody. We're talking about talking about the 4th running back on the team.
Yeah, I mean, but they've always split, so it's really interesting.
Next up, we have a good game: Cowboys versus the Rams. Cooper Rush is obviously killing it. He's already better than Dak. He's the next Red Rifle in my eyes. We already pretty much talked about Pollard and Zeke. They're absolutely dog shit. 19 carries for Zeke last week, 49 yards. And then Pollard, 8 carries for 6 yards. We're talking about less than 55 total yards.
Yeah. I mean, we kind of like us saying that running backs are kind of dead. I mean, I it's kind of true, man. Kind of true.
How can you get a total of 27 rush attempts between your two running backs and not get more than 55 yards? We're talking about like all you need is 2 yards of carry to be efficient.
What?
I mean, at least in the eyes of getting more than 50.
You need at least 4.5, 5 yards per carry to be truly efficient nowadays.
I understand that. I'm just saying to get over the 50 mark, you need more than 2 yards of carry.
Yeah, well, if Zeke had one more carry, he would have gotten over that 50-yard mark, I think.
Let's give him 20 carries to get 50 yards.
The Rams gave up a bunch of rushing yards to Antonio Gibson, Williams, and McKissick last week, all with 40-plus yards, so it's 135, 140 yards on the ground. Do you think the Rams kind of try to establish the run a little bit more? Because the Rams are just a better team. They think they'll be up. And do you think they're just going to split work? Because Cam Akers look bad. I told everybody Cam Akers is going to be bad. He's not good.
I'm telling any team that doesn't has an iffy offensive line, I'm scared going against the Cowboys. Like you say, the Rams should be up. They have if not the best pass rushers in the league.
Yeah.
And I don't know. You saw the Rams get blown up last week. So
once again, Kyle Shanahan is Sean McVay's daddy. I talk about it 3 years in a row. I've been telling you this. And every year you choose not to acknowledge the truth of it. But Darrell Henderson is clearly the better running back.
I think so.
I think Cam Akers is basically useless nowadays. You're not going to be able to get rid of him, and you're really going to drop him. I don't know. Let him sit on your bench till he proves that he can do something. Confirmed, though. Can be confirmed. Matthew Stafford is a racist.
Sure.
Can be confirmed. Cooper Kupp, 19 targets. Tyler Higbee, 14 targets. Ben Skoranek got injured in the first half. 3 targets.
Can we say that Robinson is just really not that good?
No, I agree. He's really not that good, but a little racist.
He should at least see some targets.
Yeah.
Tyler
Higbee right? Should not be getting 14 targets.
Oh, no, he should. He's the man. He's my. I tell everybody if you're gonna. I tell everybody anybody that is looking for a tight end get Higbee.
Yeah, I mean,
he's the best value you can get.
Yeah, I mean, and he was lower on everybody's rankings this year because Allen Robinson came to town. What a big mistake, huh?
Yeah. Gallup finally started last week. He had a touchdown. He only had two catches for about 25 yards and touchdown, which is good for this offense. I slightly want to talk about this offense. Good for this offense. I slightly want to talk about CeeDee Lamb. With Cooper Rush and CD is a thing. It's proven fact. He's had 11 targets week 2, 12 targets week 3, 8 targets week 4, almost 100 yards in each game. Only 2 touchdowns the last 2 games. But if you look back at Cooper Rush last year, week 8, he was also a starter. He had 8 targets, 6 catches for 112 yards. He's better. I know we're talking about numbers. But Dak Prescott, I'm just trying to make a point. Dak Prescott, because you know what? Because I said don't even draft Dak Prescott. So I'm going to continue on this board. I hope he comes back as soon as possible. Because you want to know why? Because I'm collecting $100 from some postal worker who wants to bet me money and not pay me because he got hurt. And no, you made the bet. You made the rules. If risk and reward. He got hurt.
Now let me ask you, counter question. You completely ignored week 1, right? Where he had 11 targets too?
Yeah, but he had 2 catches.
He had 2 catches because he was going against the Bucs secondary who just he's the only guy in the field and he shut him down. They were double teaming him the whole game.
If you watch that game, the balls weren't catchable. The balls weren't catchable.
To a point, but Cooper Rush played in that game. Cooper Rush played in that game too.
We are gonna see.
Listen, CeeDee Lamb is the unquestioned number 1 there. No matter who's playing, he's getting double-digit targets.
telling you right now.
That's kind of all I gotta say about
We're
that.
We're pushing for the next red rifle. Cooper Rush, rushing it for this team. That's all I'm saying. You done?
Yeah, no, I got nothing. That's your stat. That
Yeah, that's
he's
my
getting
stat.
he's getting 8-9 targets a game every week because volume equals production, right?
Yeah.
If you get what was it? What was your wide receiver stat? Your top 10 wide receiver.
If you're, what was it? I forgot.
If you're averaging 10 targets a game,
if you did averaging, because it was a Marseille Brown, if you're averaging more than 10 targets per game, for the whole year, you're 83% to be top 10 wide receiver.
So stupid. That's one of those stats that Mike will never get out of his head forever.
But it's true.
He'll say that on his deathbed. He'll say it on his deathbed.
Targets equals production. Stay with me, everybody.
Top 15 wide receiver.
Everybody, top 10 wide receiver. Next up, we have the Bird game. Eagles vs Cardinals. This is going to be ugly.
Bird game.
The Eagles are going to dominate going against the Giants' offensive line.
You want some gambling advice?
What?
Take the Eagles first quarter. Cardinals had not scored a point in the first quarter.
They're not going to. They might not even score a point in this whole game.
Yeah. You know what? It's come to my realization, and it's not as much the offense as it is Cliff Kingsbury is not a good coach. And
he's a college coach.
Yeah, sure. The air raid works great in college. This is supposed to be a fast-paced offense, right?
Mm-hmm.
I saw a stat on Twitter today. And since Cliff Kingsbury has been the coach, they're supposed to be the fastest-paced offense in the league, right? Oh. They've used the most timeouts to avoid delay of game penalties in the NFL.
It's funny. I was watching the game and I witnessed that.
Yeah, it's not great. Listen, the Eagles, solid defense. I think they're going to eat up, at least in the first half, against the Cards' O-line, former Giants greats.
Yeah.
But Cardinals always come back in the second half because the game's no longer scripted. It's no longer a scripted playbook, and Kyler can audible out of that nonsense that Cliff says he should run, and then they start making plays. So I don't really have much. I
just want to talk about Sanders, I think. What were you going to say?
Yeah, I just wanted to say, people who are complaining about Marquise Brown, you guys should take a step back and realize that he's not DeAndre Hopkins, and he's still a top 10 wide receiver in fantasy right now. Like, yeah, he's not going to give you 13 catches a game, but he's top 10 wide receiver. What more were you thinking?
Well, you drafted him, what, 5th, 6th round?
6th round, 5th round.
Come on. That's great.
Yeah.
I want to talk about Sanders. He's looking really good on the year. 3 touchdowns already on the year. 3, I repeat, 3, which he had none last year. His offense looks good. He saw his most rush attempts last week. When they were playing down, he still had 27 rush attempts, 134 yards. This is his 3rd game averaging close to 5 yards per carry. Week 1, 7.38. Week 2, 4.71. Week 3 was his down week. He had a 3. And now, finally, against the Jaguars, he had a 4.96. Being featured in the passing game, he's averaged about 2 to 3 targets per game. We love to see it. He's not really efficient in the catching the passes. He hasn't really broke one off. His best game was 22 yards. But overall, you have a current ranked RB8. Now, in a down year, this is
everything you could have asked for. That's a 4th round running back.
Exactly what I'm saying. Like he slid on our draft boards. I think he went like 7th or 8th in our league. Because of how shit home league we thought he was.
Also, let's just a little caveat. There's like 7 Giants fans in our league.
Absolutely. I'm just saying in our league.
You see Cowboys players slide. You see Eagles players slide. Commanders, nobody cares. They just take them wherever.
No one cares. I'm just saying we have some decent games in the future. We're going to eventually have Arizona next week. Obviously, this week. After that, you have a hard defense, Dallas bye, but then we have Pittsburgh, Houston, Washington, Indy, Green Bay. Decent matchups, not anything amazing. There's no Lions. If you're gonna go make a trade, I'm all for it. You could use the word. You could actually use the buy as your advantage and say that listen, you might as well trade. You might as well get the player and sell the person on. You know what? You're gonna lose him in a buy. You're basically giving me half of a good half of a good season. I'm taking the buy off your hands. Use that as your advantage doing trades. It will sound a lot better, and I think his production on this team, currently one of the best teams in the league, is going to continue to, if not continue, stay steady.
Yeah. I'm just looking real quick. I just wanted to triple check for the number one running back on every team. Nobody has rushed for over 70 yards against Arizona. Combined, the team has a couple times. Week 1 with Chiefs, and then week 2, I believe. So they're pretty good on as far as against a run, but
they still have Watt.
Yeah, they still have Watt. I do think that this Eagles defense is just way better than this terrible O-line that the Cardinals are putting out. So I kind of just think it's going to be a real tough game for Miles Sanders. Just my opinion. I really don't have a good feel on this game, to be honest with you.
Yeah, I could see him maybe just like Clyde Edwards-Helaire did. Right? You said
it was Pacheco had 62, and then
that was the game he got 2 touchdowns in the passing game.
Yeah,
never know.
So it could potentially be a Kenneth Gainwell week.
Could be.
Yeah,
very well could be. Finally, we're going to the 8:00 game, Sunday night Eastern. Bengals versus the Ravens, divisional rival.
Fucking Ravens.
We have the Ravens who just don't know how to coach, don't know how to play, and have no defense.
Makes me mad again that you wrote this in the notes.
Sure. Hopefully they kick a field goal with one of the best kickers to ever play the game with Tucker in the fourth quarter.
Like, I get why they didn't, but at the same time, you have to take the points.
There's numbers that back it up, but
I get it. Like, if you give the 3 points, Buffalo's going to score a touchdown. They went right up the field, no problem. But like, you've scored 0 points in the second half. Kick the field goal, dude.
See, this is the thing. So this is my mindset in it. You kick the field goal, you still give Buffalo, what was it, 2 minutes?
It was 3 minutes.
3 minutes, okay.
Yeah.
Regardless, they still had to go the full length of the field to score a touchdown. They would have to go the full length of the field.
Yeah.
Saying if they kick the kickback and it would be on the 25 yards.
Because Buffalo is never going to overtime ever again in their lives. After what happened in the playoffs, never again.
But if by any chance you were able to stop them, you're just giving up. You're just going to the tie.
Yeah.
It's not like I think Buffalo had 9 points in the second half. It's not like they were dominating you. Yes, they were moving up and down the field, but they were not dominating you in any way. If they would have just, if you could have just got a tie at that point. If you had the tie, then you're going by a flip of a coin and you could win the game. Yeah,
that was obviously people at home don't know. That was the last leg of my five leg parlay.
Plus
it was plus 800, and I needed over 44.5 yards. I needed 2 field goals. I needed 5 points, and I couldn't get it. It was unbelievable. Back to fantasy football, though. Dobbins, had 2 touchdowns last week. One rushing, 1 receiving. He looked good. He did only see 13 carries, 41 yards, but he looked healthy, I will say.
Mm-hmm.
When he was on the field, he looked very healthy. So that's a good sign. Where like last year, I felt like he was, I don't know if it was nerves or he was still like a little bit banged up, like kind of tentative. This week, he looked like he's a football player again.
I like the simple fact that, he saw the production. He saw the 13 carries. I didn't care about the 41 yards. I don't really care. As long as I see the carries,
Yeah.
That's what I like. If he's going to get 4 targets a game, I love that too. I mean, I don't see that going all year round. But with that being said, Edwards is expected to be, taken off the PUP list very soon. I think he is taken off the PUP list. He's able to practice. He's allowed to practice up to 3 weeks, I believe, before he's activated onto the roster. So maybe, I don't know.
I think he's close to coming back. It's definitely not this week. It's probably next week.
Probably next week. Like that being said, don't expect those 4 targets to be going to Dobbins every week. It would probably be Edwards that takes the passing downs.
Mm-hmm.
That's all I really got to say. Bateman's seen the targets just regressed in the progressions. It's going to be hit or miss, I think, all year round. He's a deep play, basically, for this offense.
Yeah, he's kind of been more like that Hollywood Brown.
Yep.
And
I just had to see because he was supposed to be a possession wide receiver, ins and outs and slants and everything. It's not been there.
Yeah.
Last but not least,
Bengals, you play everybody.
You don't fucking care.
Yeah, Ravens defense stinks. Ravens defense is not good.
Mixon sucks too, so.
Yeah.
We don't talk about him. Somebody wanted to trade it for Mixon. Someone asked for his trade and said, let them trade Mixon for like Gordon and stuff. I was like,
yeah.
Monday night, we have the shit Raiders going against the Chiefs.
Oh, man. Chiefs by a million.
Chiefs have been killing it. Like, you saw what they did with the Tampa Bay defense. Can you imagine what the Raiders are going to do?
Yeah.
Nothing. Nil. They're going to have to be passing like crazy to keep up with the Chiefs. And the Raiders' offensive line, if you think everybody else's offensive line is bad, Raiders are garbage. And run the ball with Jacobs. Finally had a huge week for them.
That's what happens. I like Joe Green says Josh Jacobs stinks. He's a Raiders fan. But like, if you run the ball, you will win games. Just like I say to the Steelers, give the ball to Najee Harris, you'll win games. You give the ball to Josh Jacobs, you'll win games. It's that simple.
28 rushes. 28 rushes last week, 144 yards, 2 touchdowns. He's also finally in his career, he's being featured as the running back wide receiver, third down back. He has a total of 5 catches in the last 2 games, both for 31 yards. Can you imagine that?
So he had five receptions week 3, and then last week.
Yeah.
Okay. So
both for 31 yards.
Okay. I like that.
I like it. I love it. I mean,
a little shocked too.
Yeah, absolutely. But they're playing down. So there's not like I'm surprised they're not running out other running backs in third down, but he's currently running back 7 on this down year of running backs.
That's another value pick. Yeah, I mean, Josh Jacobs gets his.
Yeah, he's been known, but I'm saying compared to Sanders and everybody, it's a new top 10 out there.
Yeah, it's a little weird to see, man. Like it's ugly.
This is definitely the year of the wide receivers. If you went the running back way, you're probably in the lead in your league. That wraps it up for us, folks.
Yeah. Mike, follow, subscribe. Like, follow, subscribe. Mike, you golfing this weekend?
Saturday, baby. Come see us on the course. I'll take your money.
Like, follow, subscribe. We'll see you guys next week.
Love y'all. Smooches.
Smooches.